Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about solutions of 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c. These are quadratic or linear simultaneous equations and quadratic equations. So here, these are quadratic equations. The idea of this lesson is to find the answer using a graph or sketching a graph and then using the graph to find the answer. Now, basically, we understand how to draw or sketch a graph. For example, here, this is a sketch graph. After you sketch a graph, you notice that the points of the graph touching the x-axis or crossing the x-axis. These points or these points of crossing or interception are the solution for the graph. So these are the solution for the graph. So this means that x equals -2 and x equals 3 are the solution the graph. So when you sketch a graph like this, you'll write the solution like this. You'll say x equals -2, and then x equals, let's write it here, x equals 3. In case of asking you to solve, sketch and solve, this is what you do. You find the values and then sketch the graph and look for the points that are crossing the x-axis and then write them like this. This is one of the important questions in quadratic graphs and how to use the graph or the sketch to solve for x. Now, let me show you another question which is important. They will give you the graph or the curved graph, and then they will tell you to find the equation of this curved line or curved graph. Now, let's move on to this question and see the steps of answering this question. In this question here, find the equation of these curves in the form of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So basically, we're going to find the equation of these lines and then turn them into this equation or this part of equation y equals this. So now let me see how do we do this. Okay, first let's take one of them for example, and 4, 5, and 7 they have the same ideas. 6 is a little bit different, but it's the same idea actually. So let's do 4 and then 6. Okay, first first thing you do, you have to see the values here on the graph. Let me put it here. Okay, let me cover this so we can use the space. Now, when we look at the curved graph over here, we will see the values or the points that the graph is crossing the x-axis. These are the points that we're going to start with. So it's crossing the x-axis in 5 and 1. So this means that you're going to write x equals 1 and x equals 5. X equals 5. These are the solution. If they ask you for the solution of the graph from here, these are the solution points for the graph. Now, if they want the equation, you're going to follow these steps. First thing you do, you have to change the signs of each one of them. Change the sign of this one and change the sign of this one. So this one will become what? This one will become -1. So it's like taking this to the other side. It's like taking this to the other side. So we will end up with x minus 1. So basically, I took the 1 this side and I made it x minus 1 like this. Same idea, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to take the 5, sorry, take the 5 to the other side. So I end up with x minus 5. Or just change the signs and put x next to them. Same idea. So here I have x minus 5, and here I have x minus 1. Focus on the steps. Sorry. So after changing the signs or taking them to the side of the x, I'm going to put brackets on top of them like this. So bracket here and bracket here. All questions have the same ideas, same steps. You just have to focus on the idea. Now, after putting brackets, I'm going to write them next to each other with brackets like this. So two brackets, two brackets. The first one has x minus 1. Second bracket has x minus 5. Now I have two brackets like this. I'm going to expand them to find the equation. So I'm going to expand them like this. The first one times the first one, and then the second one. And then the second one will be multiplied by the first one and the second one. And expanding here means multiplying. So focus when you expand on the signs, on the numbers, on everything you have. So first, x times x will be, very good, x power of 2. X power of 2. And then here, x minus x is x power of 2. And then x minus negative 5 is going to be negative 5x. Negative 5x. And then negative 1 times negative x is going to be negative x. And then negative 1 times negative 5 is going to be positive 5. Now, after expanding, I have to simplify the equations that I have. And simplifying means look at like terms and add them or subtract them by each other. So here we have like terms, which have the same variable. Now, like terms are going to be simplified together. So x squared, or x power of 2, and then negative 5x negative x equals negative 6x, and then plus 5, and that's the expression that comes from expanding. Now I have to write it as a y equals, so I'm going to write y for it like this and equals. And this is the final answer of this question. So basically, this is the equation of the curved graph or curved line that we have here. As you can notice, this is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point where the y or the line crosses the y-axis, and that's the idea of this question. So basically, we found the equation of the line of the curved line. Same idea with the others. You just take the x's, change the signs, or take them to the x side like this, and you'll change the signs, and then expand them, and then simplify them. You find the equation of the curved line. Now, let's move on to the next question that has one point crossing the x-axis, and I'll show you the idea of the question. Let's move on to the next question. Now, in the question here, we notice that the x-axis is crossed in one point only. This means that x will equal 3 two times. This means that the solving or the solution for this graph is x equals 3 and x equals 3. So you have to write it two times, okay? That's the only difference between this question and the other questions. And then you have to follow the same steps that we did before, in which we take the 3 to this side of the x, same idea here, we take it to this side, or change the sign, same idea. So this one will become x minus 3, x minus 3 over here. And the second one, of course, with brackets, or just follow the same steps that we did before. So x minus 3. And then we put brackets on them. So they're going to be like this, bracket x minus 3, close bracket, and then bracket x minus 3 and close bracket. And then after putting them inside brackets, you just have to expand, focus on changing the sign, because changing the sign will get you back to the equation. Now we just have to expand these, first times first, and then times second, and then second times first, and then times second, like this. So x times x is going to be x power of 2, or x squared, and then negative 3 x times negative, not times x is going to be negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And then here we have negative 3 times x is going to be negative 3x. And then negative 3 times negative 3 is going to be positive 9. Now, the last step is simplifying by looking at like terms and adding them together. So we have x squared, which is the same, x power of 2. And then negative 3x is going to be negative 6x. And then positive 9 like it is, okay? And then, as we said, write it as an equation of in the form of y equals. So this means that you write y equals for it. And this is how you answer a question like this. This is the equation of the curved graph that we have over here. If you look at the y-intercept, which is 9 or positive 9, you find out it's the same in the equation. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.